Christopher Spera, and this is the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 148. That's Captain MF to you. Recorded live Sunday, October 12th, 2025, live from iTechGear Central. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, the editor-in-chief's over here at the iTechGear.org, and we've got a full crew today. Back from where the hell did you go again? Was it La La Land?
I was in San Diego.
San Diego, that's
City,
right. San Diego.
City.
Not La La Land, but San Diego, Charger City. That's it. Those dulcet tones are back. That's the editor from iTechGear and the former contributing editor of Gear Diary in the late great pocket now. That's Mr. Chris Gavula. How are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you guys been?
Just ducky.
You hanging in there? It's fall
Swinging.
is settling in. Started Halloween kinds of things already. So here we are.
Yeah.
We're in that season.
Yep. We've also got the editor at iTechGear and the former contributing writer at Gear Diary, and of course the host of the Linux Link Tech Show, living in the Retro Arcade podcast. And what's the last one, Joel? Because I haven't got
Fitness for the rest of us.
Fitness for the rest of us. That's brother.
Which I actually had one release. I believe it was yesterday. I said it released because I recorded two last week. So the one that released last week, which was my Mammoth March victory dance, and then we talked about that other, plus like I mentioned in the pre-show, and Joel's gonna run a half marathon next year, so anyway, so but I'm just glad to be here tonight.
We're glad that you're here, brother.
Yes,
so that's good. And of course, last but never ever least, the editor here at iTechGear and the former co-owner of WUGNET Publications, that's of course Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I thought for a moment there you're going to reference Captain Kangaroo in the title, but
Captain
I
Chaos.
got all excited
Good
there for a minute.
morning, Captain.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where he was going with that.
We've been busy planning for a road trip back to Virginia, where we lived for 35 years, see some
Virginia
old friends.
What a wonderful place.
Go to
My
old
wife's favorite place.
restaurants, and you know what? When you're retired, you still need vacations. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
No, that's just, isn't that just every day?
It is. Yeah.
It's very true.
I mean, I'm retired every day. I mean,
yeah, well,
tomorrow
you
I'm tired.
You are living the work dream.
Tomorrow I'm tired. You know, I'll be tired Wednesday. Actually, I got a short week this week, so. But
well, that's nice.
I feel like Madeline Kahn in Blazing Saddles. I'm tired.
Let's face it, everything from down is kaput.
Truth.
I'm just saying. I'm just tired.
Yes.
My goodness.
Hey, Shotzi. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So,
you know what's big fun? You know what's big fun? There's M5
freaking rumors.
MacBook Pro rumors going around, and
aren't there always
that
wasn't there always? I mean, they've been talking about this stuff forever.
They have, but there's some really I don't want to say credible rumors, but I've seen this in more than one place.
I think it'll happen.
We're citing an article over here at Apple Insider that's saying that the lower end MacBook Pros, M5 MacBook Pros, are actually going to be out before the end of 2025. So within the next couple of months, there's going to be an M5 MacBook Pro hitting.
Make that next week.
You think it's going to be next week?
Yeah.
Well, that's supposed to be the end of October is supposed to be their next thing, isn't it? End of October?
Was it the end of October?
Maybe 2 weeks, week or two.
Hey everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
another 10 days maybe.
Yeah, something like that. But I know they had a thing supposedly happening in the month. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's supposed to happen within the next couple of weeks, and then the higher end models are going to happen after the first of the year, which is just fine. So
honestly, I hope they update it because I should be due. I got an M1 MacBook Pro for my work machine, so I should be due very soon.
That came out in what, 21, I think, right?
21.
Yeah, 4 years. So I've just about 4 years on that machine, and hard for me to believe already. But
that's true.
So,
hey, have you guys ever had a heart to heart with yourselves ever? like
What?
asking yourself questions, answering them, and things like that. Where I'm going with this is that when this rumor came out that they were possibly going to add the M5 at MacBook Pro along with the iPad Pro, I said, "Hey Larry, if you had your choice of either one, which would you buy?" I would have told you 1,000 times the MacBook Pro, but you know what? I would get a new M5 iPad Pro first. I really would.
The 11-inch or
Yep. The 13. I mean, I've got the M4 13 iPad Pro now,
okay.
but I made a mistake. I did not get the Nano, and I didn't
The
understand.
nano screen technology,
If
nano.
you do anything near a window or outside, you've got to have that. You really do.
I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that, but okay. I haven't had that kind of issue, and I've never had a nano screen and never
Really?
really found it necessary.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, and
Well,
I've been using
I want more
these for
RAM in
years.
my. I want more RAM
Well,
too.
that I
So,
would agree with.
so
Yeah.
if I do it,
Absolutely.
I'll get it for both reasons, I think.
No,
But
there's nothing wrong with that. And you know what? It isn't going to hurt you. So
well,
there
no,
you
I'm
go.
just what I'm saying is I've become very dependent upon that little device. I take it
I
everywhere.
totally agree with you. That
And
to
it's
me,
your fault, Chris Gavula, that I even
it
have
is.
one.
I've been screaming the utility of the iPad Pro for years now,
You have.
God
and
is
You
so
have.
good.
You and I have talked about that many, many times.
But
and I've told you I'm with Larry. This would be my first choice,
and
no question.
with iOS or iPad OS 26, it's
Yeah.
even more of
So
a
do you
big
think they're
deal.
going to do both at this event, or do you think they're going to do the iPad first like they did last time?
I think they'll do the iPad Pro and the entry level M5, period,
Okay,
not the Pro
gotcha.
or the Max. That's
Okay.
what I
See,
think.
because
Okay.
I would want an M5 Pro.
Oh yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
I would want an M5 Pro. So I'm gonna be I'm waiting
I wouldn't
anyway.
buy an
But
M5 just
you know,
But you
with
don't,
my
but
M1
yeah.
Max, it's really
Well, again,
I'm really doing
we're
well
talking
right
about the
now as it is.
computer versus the iPad. The iPad is not both the Pro or Max chips. It's just
Right. It's just a
M5.
straight M5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
what I really want is the new display, the new Apple Studio display that does
yeah.
ProMotion. Oh, can't wait.
Well,
It's a thing.
it's a thing. Could be a thing in a
Could
couple of weeks,
be, we'll know.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what
Looking forward
happens.
to
But
it.
yeah, so the time will tell in a couple of weeks. So there you go, kids. If you start saving your shekels now, because we could be in a spot
Yeah,
where, you know, that would be awesome. And
I'm
speaking
looking forward
of
to it.
and speaking of Apple, shortly after we talked about who might was it last week or the week before about who might be backed to replace Tim Cook as CEO. Here comes out Newsweek has said that John Turnus is actually going to end up being that person. Isn't that right, Larry?
Well, I would like to. I don't do this very often because I don't like to blow my own horn. I really don't. But
But
I
beep beep.
sat right here on this microphone and I said, I couldn't even remember his name, could I? I said
No,
it
you
was the
have come.
VP of
Yeah,
hardware, is all I could remember. And then
yeah.
you said John Turnus. I said, yeah, that's the one.
Well,
I said that he will be Cook's successor long before the airways ever said crap about it.
it's
So
true.
once again, this show got it right. That's about 20 times so I can remember.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
really done some good.
We're doing all right as
We
far as
really are.
accuracy is
But you
concerned.
know what? I would say that the important thing here with if you take a hard look at John Turnus, he is just the right guy. Everybody likes him. He's
Yeah.
got the background. He's got the hardware, and you know, I think like Tim Cook, whether you like it or not, Tim Cook has been better for Apple than even Steve Jobs. I believe that.
Oh, by far. Oh,
By
by
Well,
far.
far.
You know,
so
and don't
And
get
I
me
think
wrong. I'm a big
Turnus,
Jobs fan. I'm a big Jobs fan because he made
absolutely.
some very hard decisions that actually positioned Apple to be in the
Cook
situation
couldn't
that was
do what he
created.
let me
did without Steve Jobs. We know
no.
that.
Let's be, but let's be a little more specific. What Cook has done a great job of. People forget he was a supply side guy. He
Yep.
was really good at getting the numbers, crunching the numbers, and
Yeah.
getting it there. What he's not as great at is product innovation. That's not his strong suit.
No. I buy
So
that.
so he's been very successful in increasing the the success of Apple as a company.
Yeah.
He's not been so good at keeping them at the forefront of innovation the way they used to be. I still would argue they do a really good job. They build very solid products, but it's not as much fun as it used to be in a lot of ways.
But that's partially not their fault because we've come so far. How much further can we come with fun?
I would disagree. But the point would be to enter into new product categories, and that's not what they're doing anymore.
Well, no,
not successfully anyway.
Right. But you know, Chris, they've been innovators, but they've done it so slowly. They've always.
But he's not a Johnny Ive. You know, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the jobs.
He can tell you what every screw in an iPhone costs.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
Right, and so it's a different. What I guess I'm saying is it's a different kind of success. It's a different set of criteria that he's succeeding under. So good or bad, you know, you can.
I just think John Turnus is the only guy they have out there that could do this.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see because if they don't use him, they're probably going to have to pull from outside the company.
Well,
that'd be one of their alternatives.
That is a very good point.
Let me ask one.
They've got great leadership in the top 20.
They do,
but they're not Tim Cook.
That is true.
Let
me ask a question here. I mean, if it weren't John Turnus,
Federici,
yeah, because that was going to be my next question. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be De Hair? So
because he's just kind of a fun guy. He's not so serious. I don't know.
I think he makes a good presentation, a good face for the company. That doesn't mean he's good at running the company.
If I'm a stockholder, do I want to believe in him or Cook? I'll believe in Cook all day long.
Well, sure. I mean, nobody's saying that, you know, if we had to choose between the two of them. I'm just wondering, you know, Craig's been fairly solid.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, throughout his entire tenure.
No, he's been solid, but I don't know that he offers that spark, that extra whatever that they need to push him into the next 10 years or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, he's solid. And he's always going to be solid. I like him. I like him. He's a good presenter and all that. But again, I think he needs something else that he's not quite bringing to the table. But to be the CEO,
I guess what the issue that I'm having here is I don't know what that might be.
I'm not sure either, you know. But I will say, you know, if the choice was to stay internally, then yeah, I would choose him probably as the second within the internal choices. But I suspect what would stop them from going back and pulling a Johnny Ive back into trying to drive things, or at least be in a secondary role further up?
Well,
you know, that kind of the point I'm getting at is there's a lot of choices out there. They could go outside.
That would cause would be for the investors to say, wait a minute, you don't have faith in your own leadership?
They might do that anyway, but a lot of companies pull from the outside when they go to get a new CEO. So I don't know it's that big a deal. You know, we'll see.
Maybe smaller companies like billions, but not trillions. I don't know.
Right.
It's going to be a tough one. It is going to be a tough one.
But it's not happening today. So there we go.
And that's good. And that's one thing that is very, I think, very important to note is that there are no indications anywhere that Tim is stepping down anytime soon.
I mean, he's not even 70 yet.
Very true. He's not. And
I'm thinking you got 5 more years of this guy at least.
Yeah.
That's what she said. But you got it. But it's time.
There you go.
Oh, I heard that. Oh my God, I heard that.
Yeah.
What they need to do is they need to start getting somebody spun up. That's what they got to do. That's
probably
so that's probably why we're talking about this now, right? Because they're starting to decide what they're going to do, who they're going to prep, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I can't think of anything I can care. Well, whatever happens, you know. I mean, and you know that might be 10 years away. Who knows? I mean, I doubt it. But it's like, you know, it's just like the MacBook rumors. It's like, you know, when Skinny Timmy or Skinny whoever, whatever, you know, it just
they're all skinny out there.
I think the only difference I would make, Joel, is that if they pull somebody, and even though the transitions wouldn't happen for quite a few years,
right?
That person's going to have an impact on how the company's run today.
This is true.
Yes.
I mean,
that part of it, I'm a little concerned about what they're going to do. But we want to watch.
But it's like the video I watched I watched a video today where a guy brought back, remember the 4 quadrant thing they had back when Johns
yeah.
was there? He brought that back and he brought back how much of a mess it is right now, especially now when you wrap in the iPad and the iPhone.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So all the different SKUs they had, where, and back in the late 90s, it was four categories. You had the Pro notebook, and then you had the iBook, and then you had the Pro desktop, and then you had the iMac. That was it. And it branched out from there when they added the G4 Cube. So I mean, that's who knows? Maybe whoever does that might take a page out of Jobs. I doubt it, but because they don't really they're not where they were back then.
That's why I mentioned what I mentioned before. We don't have the creative spark that we had back then, and the people involved. So, is that a failure? No. I mean, at some point, markets plateau, markets do their thing. I get it, but it would be nice to see some spark back in it. It'd be nice to see some of that excitement again.
It's harder to innovate today. I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody's innovating the way I'd like to see them innovate. Nobody is. It's not just Apple.
There really hasn't been a lot of that going around.
I mean, I have the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and to be honest, I'm probably not going to upgrade till the 12. Is my guess.
Yeah, I saw that. They were talking about the 9 Fold versus the 10 Fold, which was just released. And everybody went, "Is there a difference?" I mean, people actually said that. Is there a freaking difference here? Because it looks almost the same. Yeah,
it's even using the same chip too, if I remember right. I mean, there's and a lot of them were complaining that it's not a premium device, and I'm like, well, Pixels never were premium devices.
That wasn't the focus. Yeah, that wasn't what they were doing. But the point I was getting at with the whole thing is that nobody's doing that. It's all we're all at this point where the markets are very level right now. It'd be nice to see something new,
that's another reason why you see these articles today, and every day we read more. People are keeping their devices 2, 3, 4 years now, and they used to get rid of them every year. They're not.
Yep.
I am, but I mean, most people aren't.
But we're also paying more and more at the premium end of these price ranges too.
You're right about that.
So we're more likely to buy at the premium range. So I would argue that people that are buying at the lower end of the range might be replacing more frequently, but certainly those of us paying at the higher end are going, maybe not this round, maybe next round. We're doing that more and more, I think. It's true. So, there we go. But Apple's giving money out now too, aren't they?
Well, they are giving out money, which is really kind of interesting. And this is specifically targeted. This is Apple's bug bounty program, and this is something that, if you are that kind that really a type of individual that A, is a decent coder, and B, really likes to beat up on Apple products, you could earn
that's
literally,
me.
Literally now. All right, literally now. All right. You could earn yourself a mean payday of up to $5 million.
You know how good you have to be to do that.
All right. So so Apple is updating its Apple Security Bounty Program. All right. They've announced that it's doubling its top reward to $2 million. So one decent bug that really finds a crack in their security of any of their applications, but mostly those that we were talking like iCloud. We're talking Apple Music TV and TV Plus. We're talking any of their hardware and major OSs. If you can find a major security bug, they could reward you with up to $2 million. All right, and these are for very sophisticated mercenary type attacks that don't require much user interaction, if any at all.
All right.
This could go up to $5 million if it's chained with other bonuses like a lockdown mode bypass. All right. You could also be rewarded $1 million bonus for quote unquote broad unauthorized access of iCloud, since that's never happened before. So these are all high tier products. These are all areas where Apple is saying they've hardened. I want to go after them using they've hardened their hearts and they've hardened their applications, and basically building them in such a case where um, where they're just almost, I don't want to say impenetrable, because I know that there's somebody that's out there that can find something, especially if they go ahead and they incorporate AI or any other kind of machine learning into part of what they're doing. But for they've got a nice little table in the article from NeoWin, so it's got to be true. Kind of attacks. If you've got a zero-click chain remote attack with no user interaction, currently they're paying out $1 million for that, but the new maximum is now 2. One-click chain remote attack with one-click user interaction will get you right now $250,000 or $250,000, but will soon pay $1 million. Wireless proximity attack or an attack that requires physical proximity to a specific device was again $250,000, but now or will soon be $1 million. Physical device access attack requiring physical access to a locked device was a $250,000. They're doubling that to $500,000. An Apple sandbox escape attack from an app sandbox to SPTM bypass was $150,000, but now could get you up to $500,000. All right. So there is also rewards that are available for Mac OS gatekeeper bypasses and $1,000 bounty for low impact reports. Since the launch of the Apple Security Bounty Program in 2020, they've paid out over $35 million to more than 800 security researchers.
While that sounds big, $1 million is worth about $13 to you and I, to Apple.
Yeah. Well, I hear what you're saying.
It's a lot of money, though. Still.
It is a lot of money. All right. And if you've this is really, for those folks that have decided, to use their superpowers for good as opposed to evil. So hopefully this will get us some really tight software.
Well, the winners are going to be the users of Apple products, because they'll be security free.
At the end of the day, it's good. The winners are going to be everybody, because we'll get to use stuff that's, more bullet deflecting. I don't think there's anything out there that's bulletproof. It's just a matter of time before somebody gets through. But
if they keep offering more, then people will step up and try to help, solve the problem. So more likely to get people looking. So
exactly. And speaking of good things that are coming from Apple, Apple Health Plus is supposed to be the next subscription service that is some really cool stuff. So why do you say Joel?
Well, it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of getting subscription to death on a lot of things.
There is something to say there. Yeah.
I mean,
I would use Joel as a kind of a benchmark here, because you are far more into health and things like that than the average person. What Apple's trying to do is provide better health for people like me and people who don't do all the extreme things that you do.
You're right.
But does this do that, though? I mean, it doesn't really necessarily do that, because all it's doing, all they may be doing is giving you a way to track things. We already have apps that do that. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I guess that's where my question goes. So they have health, which collects this data today. It is a service. And they have Fitness Plus, which offers you, well, let's just call it routines and patterns and things you can do.
I have it, and I don't use it that much, but I have it.
And a lot of people don't. So the question is, where does this actually fit into the
mix?
That
I don't know. But
I'm a little confused as I read about how this actually fits into the mix. And I'm not sure it fits in a way that would lend itself well to a subscription. That's kind of where I am.
See,
I mean, most people get this all through Apple One anyway.
Yeah.
Or they get it through third-party apps and third-party hardware.
Where I hated Strava, because I hate Strava.
Hang on, guys. Hang on.
Anyways,
let's not step all over each other here. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that Apple Health in and of itself provides so many things for the average person that I'm like Chris G. I don't know what else they can do. I mean, I'm already paying whatever for Apple One, and it gives me like everything I need. It wouldn't help Joel a bit, but it helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes back with where I say, now I got the AirPods 3 in the house. And he twists my arm. Well, actually, that's the thing is, I don't know if I want to write a review for it or not because it's not that different. To be honest, but it does have the heart rate monitor in it, and okay, I guess I see that for people like my wife who has an iPhone. And doesn't want to deal with the watch, so maybe on that. So I'm coming around from that, but this, which kind of ties into the Health Plus. But the thing is okay. Let's see. What are my subscriptions now? Let's see.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I've got multiple streaming services: Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. I got Netflix. I got Amazon Prime.
YouTube TV.
I got Garmin Connect Plus because I like the AI features that it adds.
Yeah.
If I can go with a Garmin InReach, which we're going to kind of talk about a little bit about that later. But if I go with an InReach device, I'll have the InReach. It's like I've got all these little subscriptions. We talked about this in the pre-show, especially with regards to the streaming services. It's like, do I need yet another one? Yeah, I'm gonna. And my biggest problem with this is anybody who has an Apple device, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Health Plus, that's the thing. Go with that. It's like, well, but you're ignoring ones that are better than it will be. I mean, that's the thing. There may be things that are just going to be better than what Apple.
But will it undermine Fitness Plus, what they have already?
Right. Well, does it undermine it? It depends on what it does. We don't really know that.
Right. There's not a lot of information about what this will actually do yet.
And it might roll into the whole Apple One thing too. And
they're
get
expecting
it anyway.
that it will. That it probably will bump the price of Apple One up.
But I think if it can impact, I think to Joel's point, I think if it's going to hit anybody, it's going to be third-party kind of hardware, software kind of combos.
Yep.
And some of them will do what they do better. But here's the thing. They might do it better. But who cares? If Apple does 80% of what they do, and that's the only 80% you need, you're not going to care. So I don't know where that's going to go.
Guys, Apple One gives you a lot more than just fitness. So who is going to buy a fitness only subscription? There's a smaller demographic, I think.
Maybe. Again, but I think that's what they're talking about. Maybe this would roll into Apple One as part of the larger Apple One package. Who knows? I don't know what this is yet. It's too early to talk about this. I don't know what this is yet.
The problem here is there's not enough information about what's going on.
I agree. But they're heading towards something. It looks like they're trying to monetize this crap somehow. Right. That's what's important here.
It looks like they're trying to monetize the uptick and the
which means next week
in fitness.
Which means next week we should see a similar announcement from Google or from Samsung.
Probably right. Probably right there.
Because if Apple gets away with it, everybody's going to try it. That.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. But if they do come out with there would have to be, for me, and I was just recently confirmed type 2 diabetic, and was pushed by my doctor to seriously put myself on some medication to lose weight, as well as trying to get my arthritis, my psoriatic arthritis under control. I think I've been told that I need to go and speak to a hip replacement surgeon about my hips. So there's a whole bunch of things that I need to do with my house. What would they offer aside from the fitness stuff that would be, beneficial or at least would draw me or somebody like Larry to a health based subscription service? I don't know yet.
Maybe I don't know if they could even do this, but maybe they have plans to have precise blood pressure monitoring, precise oxygen, precise all these things. Rather than just
remember, they've got to be very, very, very careful because they're dancing on the edge of being called a medical device, and when you do that, you open up a whole
bunch of other regs.
Yeah.
And that's exactly one of the things I talked about on the last Linux Link Tech Show was the fact that there aren't very many Actually, there are some wearables that are open source,
There are.
but they're nowhere close. Nowhere
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
to any single device that we've ever heard of before.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and part of that comes from the expense of getting FDA certifications on some of the
Exactly.
features,
Absolutely.
and about how proprietary this collection of stuff is. I've got certain apps that won't talk to the app that I'd like it to be. You know, like for example, the first form app basically. It won't track anything coming from my Garmin into the first form app. I have to do it all manually. It sucks. You know, my ideal
Don't hold back, Joel. Tell us how you really feel.
right, my ideal health and fitness tracking device, which doesn't exist yet, would let me put down my data where I want it to be. All right.
Yeah.
So if I want to have data in Google Fit, as well as Garmin Connect, as well as Runkeeper or whatever, let me do it. But the fact is none of them are doing that. Everyone's proprietary on every single thing with this stuff.
What they really need is to have something on the Apple Watch when you drive by McDonald's and you see those French fries.
Gives you an electric shock?
180 volts on your wrist. Says,
Yeah.
No, can't do it.
That's a good way to have me tear the damn thing off.
That would be a big help.
But anywho, you know, so I mean, and this isn't going to solve anything. I mean, the thing, you know, unless you're completely bought into the Apple ecosystem, and we all know Joel isn't.
But even if you are, there's gaps in all this. Okay,
This is true too.
And that's true, and that's part of the issue and problem here. I would need to know specifically what is going on.
So
and what specific
I bought the Garmin feed.
It provides over and above Apple Health.
Yep. Okay. Well, here we go.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move us to our mobile Linux segment, and I think that there's some additional wonderful spicy stuff in here to talk about. I know this first story, Joel, you brought up in email earlier this week. TagViewer has finally, after 3 years, released the Connected Caliber E5, and it is now
it's
MFI
Calibre
certified. So
right, which means it'll work with the iPhone. And here's the wild thing is it's left Wear OS in the dust with its own thing called TagViewer OS that was developed in Paris by a team of 60 engineers. Now I will say that, you know, TagViewer has been well known for making really, really nice watches for literally 100 years ever.
Wow.
I mean for a long time.
They've been around for a while.
This is a little different now. It's made for my iPhone. I guarantee you it may not plug into every single little thing that Apple has. You know, so we'll find out if it does or not. But my thing here, though, is what else can TagViewer OS do? Is it going to have the app support that either the Apple Watch or even the Garmin watch has? I don't know. Or the Wear OS.
So this particular watch says they make reference to having the blood ox levels.
Right.
Heart rate variability, sleep tracking, breathing rate, calorie counting. So a compass, accelerator.
That's all the tracking stuff. Right. You know, that's all the tracking stuff.
You know, so there's some health tracking and some normal location tracking kinds of things. So yeah, they seem to have done a decent combination of things. What's interesting is they don't support third-party apps, which we expected, and they don't support Google Pay or Apple. I don't know if they support Apple Pay or not.
LTE connectivity,
or LTE connectivity.
LTE, you're right.
Joe, do they have another app that'll take over? I mean, the old TagViewer app in the app stores for the E3, E4 only. Are they going to have a new app or what?
Yeah, the article doesn't say, and I don't have one, so I can't really say for sure. You know, because
it was a very popular download,
right?
But it starts at a minimal price of $1,600.
Yes,
and that's for the 40 millimeter. I did go and take a look at this online. And
they are beautiful. I'll give you that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, Tag makes a wonderful watch. They always have. Like you said, for over 100 years, they're mechanical watches. are amazing. All right.
Yes.
Um, I have a connected caliber E4, and while it is an absolutely fabulous watch, it is
Well, that's right.
Wear OS, right?
Right.
Number one. Number two, I have always had an issue with it charging, and it has
Mm.
never really charged well, and the battery has always been very, very flaky. So the issue that I have with this thing now is it probably will. I would be very surprised. There will probably be I would guess there's going to be a new TagUra app for this particular
Likely.
watch. Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, it's I would think that if it was made for, if it's MFI certified, I'm hoping that it would connect directly into Apple Health and connect with it,
Right. Yeah.
so that all of the cardio, the SpO2 tracking, sleep tracking, breathing rates, and calorie count, blah blah blah, et cetera, would all funnel right in and out of Apple Health automatically. Um, Unfortunately, the article that we're citing here at Mac Rumors doesn't really provide all of that information. All right. Um, so
No, it's limited. Yeah.
yeah, the only thing that I can say,
And keep in mind, this has been announced. It's not released
Right.
yet. It's announced. So that's probably why the information is a little bit limited.
right. So what they're saying though is from a battery life perspective. I mean, the 40 millimeter version should give you, with the always on display active, it's going to give you about a day and a half worth of
Eh.
battery life and use. It does support fast charging, so it'll provide a full day's power in 30 to 40 minutes, with a full
But that's a
charge
dress
in about an
watch.
hour
I
and a
mean,
half.
most people don't care how long it'll last. They plug it in every night. That's all they care
Oh,
about.
I don't know. I do.
I don't
This
know. I
is
don't know about that. I don't
I
know
do.
Yeah.
about
I
that.
mean,
I wear my Apple Watch, and I wear, and the other watches that I wear. I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll wear them, especially for the sleep tracking, to go ahead and
Yep.
see how well I'm doing there, right? And you have to be able to wear the device
yeah,
overnight in
yeah.
order to be able to keep track of all that. And to
I
be
will
honest,
say that the WatchOS 11, the new one I got, does, I mean, I wear it all day long, put it on the charger. It says you've only used about 20% of this thing. What are you doing charging me?
right. See, and that's the other thing. Unless this thing is going to go ahead and do some sort of battery management where it only charges to 80% or something, right?
Mm.
To help extend the life of the battery, you're going to go through this um, pretty quick. The caliber E4 that I have is only 3 years old. All right.
Right.
And the battery is toast. All right.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you get this thing to behave like you know that it should? All
Right.
right. And the answer is I don't know.
Mhm.
All right. We're gonna have to figure out some
all
level.
that build up for an I don't know. That's what we
Hey,
get.
hey, hey. But it's true. But it's true. The
It's
problem
true.
is
It
you're
is.
working with small batteries, you know?
No,
Yeah.
How
absolutely true.
do you, I mean, and the only way that I could say, I think Joel, your watch is probably and Pulsar is another way to go. They're all solar powered or powered by light.
Well, it's
You
got
know?
it's got a solar panel charger on it. Plus, it also has the MIP display, which is essentially e-ink.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, the battery life, like here, I'm looking at it right now, tells me that my battery's at 59%, and it tells me I have 13 days
Yeah.
of battery life
But
at
this-
59%. So, I
But you
mean,
got to keep it with that e-ink display to get
Yeah.
that.
This
To get the
this
13,
yes,
watch
to get
that
the
we're talking-
13 days, yes, you do.
Yeah, this
Yes,
watch from
and-
Talk is not e-ink.
Right.
It's AMOLED.
Correct.
It's not going to last.
No.
and I'm
no.
not sure. We do got an article about the Garmin Phoenix 8. Actually, I think it's next, isn't it? Yeah. So the Phoenix 8 is available in OLED versions and the MIP display. So Phoenix 8 Pro OLED. I want to see what the battery life of it is.
Well, speaking of the Phoenix
Yes.
8 Pro, I mean there's some hit or miss features that are currently out there,
Right.
aren't there?
Right.
Joel, why don't you go? I mean, there was a we're citing a YouTube video, and
Yeah.
I did watch most of this. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched most of it.
From the
And
hiking guy.
some of this stuff some of the features that you see offered in the 8 Pro. Honestly would make if I were interested in purchasing a Garmin watch based on this guy's experience, it would make me rethink the 8 Pro and really take a hard long look at either a 7 or a 7 Pro.
Well, or I would also look at the regular 8. The Phoenix 8 Pro by the way, the battery life on the AMOLED version is 10 days. So still better than anything I've ever seen. But probably one of the biggest features and biggest reasons you might want to pick up the 8 Pro, the hiking guy actually talks about this. I love his videos. He's right in my wheelhouse, and so it has InReach, but it's not InReach. It's not what we're used to. InReach, for those who don't know, they have the InReach Mini and they have a GPS, the 67i, that has the built-in InReach functionality in it. So it has a satellite functionality that's not at all like the functionality that Apple or Google has in their devices for satellite messaging. You don't have to necessarily do anything with the InReaches to make them work, other than make sure that the antenna for the Iridium site is set on the right, basically in the open, like on a backpack strap or something like that. All right. But it works significantly better than the functionality built into the new 8 Pro, because the 8 Pro isn't the same technology. It's something else. So it still costs the same subscription-wise. It's still called the InReach, but it's not quite the same functionality as yield standard InReach. So that makes me look at this and say, well, I'll stick with my 7 Pro and just buy an InReach Mini, to get the SOS features and the messaging. And the messaging is just bang on. The nice thing with those is the 7i, you can send them direct from the screen. The 67i, you can send direct from the screen. The InReach just connects to your phone with Bluetooth, and you use the Garmin Messenger app to send messages, even if your phone doesn't have connectivity. So, and that's what InReach is great for. So the 8 Pro, and it's okay. I mean, if you buy it, I'm not going to say that's not a good feature to have. It's just, if you're expecting it to be the same as the InReach, that's going to be a negative. So, you might want to look at either the 8 Pro, the 8 non-Pro, or maybe the Epix. The Epix has a lot of the same functionality as the Phoenix, and I believe you can get it in a. I'm trying to think. The Epix may be only OLED. The Phoenix gives you the option. You can get OLED or the MIP display. So, and I would go with the MIP display because I love it on here. To be honest, I don't need to look at the screen that much.
I would agree. And I would also argue, I would make it clear that when we talk about the length of time that their OLED AMOLED lasts, it only lasts those kind of longer days when you turn off a lot of the power.
Turn off a lot of the tracking.
Heavy power saving mode, a lot of features turned off, that kind of thing. In normal kind of always on mode, like an Apple Watch is, it's much more like 21 hours. It's much more normal, in line with that. But the point is, they do better at making that sort of selectable, as it were.
Yes.
So, but that's the point. You're not going to get everything for 10 days.
And the nice thing with the Garmin's is there's a whole selection of them. They even have one in the Mark series, which is made out of a Damascus
they do
alloy. So and there's nothing better out there with regards to toughness wise. They have the sapphire screen options. I always go with those.
Absolutely.
And in contrast, there's Timex, who said there's enough of this stuff, we're going to introduce our 1980 line of watches all over. And they are doing
And
it.
Casio,
You know what?
well, and Casio still makes the data bank, the data link watch with the calculator on it. I mean,
You know what? Good on them. Good on
Yeah.
them.
You put a $20 watch in Walmart, it's going to sell. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
telling you,
I
people-
would not disagree there.
No.
I
there's
would
a
not
whole
disagree.
category
Right.
of people that realize we don't need all of this crap
No,
all
we
of the
don't.
time.
We just want to
Mhm.
know what time it is.
It goes back to now the Garmin watches are like a level above what my last smartwatch, which was the Wise smartwatch, which was very basic, but still had a great battery life. You know, not what the Garmin has, but it and it didn't have any apps or anything like that. You know, but the Garmin does. So
No matter what you do, it always comes back down to a fight between features, screen, and longevity. I mean, you're always playing that game. It's always a power management game with that stuff. So you got to decide what's important to you and go with it, guys.
Yep,
That's what you got to do. Use case.
absolutely.
Well, there you go again. There you go
Yeah.
again.
There you go again.
So
What else we got here?
Chris has been struggling getting Linux on a T2 Mac.
Well, you know what's really bothering me here
We ought to be
is
called the use case show.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
We're
let me
gonna talk
go
about
ahead. Let me go
distro.
ahead and provide a little bit of background here. I've got an extra recently located an extra Mac here at the house. Had put it in a safe place so that I wouldn't forget where it was, and promptly forgot it.
Okay.
Yeah,
You probably forgot it, of
And
course.
promptly
But now it's
forgot where it was.
obsolete.
Located the device, and I said, well, you know, I've got a working Mac here at the desk, and I've got one for upstairs, so I don't have to constantly go up and down and up and down and up and down, which for me is a good thing because my hip and stairs don't get along as well as we used to. So I decided, well, you know, I had to give up the one Linux machine that I did have set up and gave it to my son, my youngest son, who desperately needed a laptop for school. So I set that up for him with a standard Windows installation because that's what he wanted and that's what he was looking for. So got him set up with that, and I said, well, I want a Linux machine so that I can play around with different distributions. And I saw this Mac after I had found it again, and I said, well, here you go, I'll use this. Well, Apple has in their this is a 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I've that particular MacBook Pro implemented the new T2 security chip. This is, of course, the same T2 security chip that Windows is using or Microsoft is using to run Windows 11 and have enhanced security with on all of their Intel-based machines.
But it's an Intel processor.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody
Yes,
knows that.
this is it is an Intel based Mac, and the T2 security chip is an Intel based security chip. So, but on the Mac side, when you want to install a Linux distribution, because of the way that the chip works to provide security, it prevents a lot of things from happening. Number one, it does employ secure boot. Number two, it does prevent unsigned or unknown or non-Apple recognized operating systems from booting from booting on the machine, and even from booting from a USB stick. So there are a number of different things that you have to go into the recovery console on your Mac before you even get started and disable. You have to disable secure boot.
Yep.
You have to disable all of the security from the chip. They say it's even a good idea to disable SIP even for Mac OS, so that you don't have to deal with any of the active security at a hardware level at all on any of your Linux based operating systems that you install later on. But more over and above that, the T2 chip doesn't permanently quiet down after you disable it. It still controls the keyboard. It still controls the Bluetooth chipset. It still controls the Wi-Fi chipset. It still controls the trackpad. So any Linux distribution that you install on a T2 based Mac, an Intel T2 based Mac specifically, none of those things work. So when you finally do get the chip disabled and you can boot into the live CD version of, or even the bootloader from this distribution that you've identified, you can't use the keyboard. You can't use the trackpad. You have to have an external keyboard connected and use an external mouse, and not a Bluetooth mouse. This would have to be something that either has its own connector or is a wired mouse that you hook through a USB port, and then after that, even you'd have to have a wired internet connection or network connection in order to get any of the stuff to go ahead and install, because many of the
because here's the thing.
hang on, many of the distributions will go ahead and actually require an internet connection to pull down all of the packages that they want to install. What were you saying, Chris? What were you saying?
The problem that you have with all of this is that is really, it all focuses around the T2 chip, and the reality is people demanded a chip like the T2 chip because of these viruses that were sneaking into the BIOS and things like that were causing problems. So now that we have those in place for a sequence on these Intel based boxes, they locked everything down. What did you expect to happen? Is kind of my reaction to all of this. What did you think would happen?
True. No. This is true.
So everything's a struggle to get around it now. That's the interesting part of it. But what did we think would happen?
Well, agreed. All right. There is also the point of view that, well, it's my computer. I want to be able to do what I want to do with it. And agreed.
And don't buy one that has this kind of security.
Well, no. There is a way to get a Linux distro on this type of Intel-based Mac.
Absolutely,
the problem is, in order to get the firmware that you're going to need to activate all of the drivers and all of the equipment after the distribution boots, there's a special set of utilities, there's a special set of there's a special kernel, etc., that has to be installed.
Don't you hear yourself what you're saying? Yes. Everything's a freaking workaround to get around the security of the T2. Everything's a workaround. How are you going to support that long term?
Why are you bothering?
Why? Right.
Because I obviously have no social life and no friends. So
well, at least
I know, right? At least I know.
The first step of the program is to admit you have a problem. I know. We understand. We understand.
So
we get it.
So the issue that I've got here, and what I'm hoping and wanting to resolve, is that I'd like to be able to do something with this particular machine other than just Mac OS.
Sure.
And you honestly, you really can't. Now, if you do have a Mac sitting around and it happens to be an Apple Silicon based Mac, and you want to install Linux on it,
no biggie.
You don't have this problem.
Right.
Well, Apple's pretty much said, if you have an Intel Mac, you might as well brick it and throw it away, because it's
yeah. You don't have this particular problem on an Apple Silicon based Mac or any M based.
Have you seen t2linux.org?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And I've looked at all of that information. The problem with it, with all of this, is I'm not a Linux admin. All right, I've got the beginning Linux certs, the lowest level certs, and I don't use it every day. So I've forgotten everything, not everything, but most of what I've learned with this, and getting back into this now, it's coming back. But even still, a lot of the instructions and how-tos that they have posted at that particular resource really assume that you have a level of engineering experience or programming experience that you would understand all of the how-tos and the step-by-steps that they've got.
And you've heard me, but you've also heard me say. So
Yeah.
again, there's two things here. One is you've heard me say that for our particular listener base, and we have recommended this for a lot of older machines.
Yep.
We always have to give that with a grain of salt, but because the reality is for some folks, it's more work than it's worth.
It is.
For some folks, it's going to be easier to just say, you know what, I'm going to get rid of it
It's
and get
time to
something
get
else.
it's time to get a new machine.
Sometimes that's going to be your answer. You know, sometimes don't kill yourselves trying to get this done.
True.
That's what I guess what I'm getting at.
True.
But having said all that, you know, you can follow the instructions, and a lot of times, if you follow the instructions carefully, you can get there. But again, what happens the first time something goes wrong? What happens when the next update comes out? You don't know. It's only as good as the support behind that particular distro.
I agree with Chris Spera that on your previous comment. I mean, I know a little bit about Linux. I've used it quite a bit, but yet when I go to a lot of these sites, I'm presented with, you're supposed to know more than you know, dummy.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know enough to even
Fair enough.
Yeah. And
Fair enough.
half the problem that you've got is when you get into either the discords or you get into the support
that's a
forums for this
different animal.
stuff.
Yeah.
It
totally
is.
different.
You end up for those inexperienced users who are trying to do what those engineers or those more experienced Linux users would call a more advanced a level of support required. They will not give you the time of day because you don't have have the same level of expertise that they do. So they can't dumb everything down in order to help you and make you.
You know what I want to tell you, man?
Learnable for you.
You know what I'm gonna tell you? Go buy a B-Link on Amazon and forget that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be your best way to do it.
I have to agree. And I will say that the attitude that you're talking about is true of a lot of engineering forums. And if you're coming on as a newbie, you're coming on as somebody else, they will not give you the time of day, or worse, they will publicly, denigrate
do their best to publicly humiliate you. Yes.
But really, you know what it comes down to, and I've been doing this a long time, so have you guys. The reality is, when you get that tone, it's because they don't know how to teach. They don't know how to talk.
Right.
That's what it's more about. It's more about their limitation, not yours. Don't take it personally.
That is true. We encountered that a lot back in the Pocket PC days when there was a lot of folks that were out there that came across, hey, you can take the ROM from this machine and put it on the machine you have or the device that you this other device. Doing that wasn't always easy, and getting things like that to happen really took some level of intelligence. Now I got into that and got more experience as I went through it, but even still I went about thinking, hey, there's some cool things here that I know a lot of other users might like. I can dumb down the instructions enough to make it so that anybody who has a computer, a keyboard, and the time to put into this understands.
As long as you don't stray from the path. Once you stray from the path, the complications increase, and that's where the problem comes in. And people don't want to talk to you. I get it. I get the concern, and I get the problem and the frustration. But again, I would argue to people, first of all, you're not dumb if you don't know this stuff. You're not. You just don't know it. That's all.
Right.
You may be skilled in other areas. Don't worry about it so much. And don't let these people, stress you out about your own self-worth either. That's what I would argue.
It's not worth.
But people do. But people do, and they shouldn't.
It's not worth. Look, the only thing that I can say is to anybody who's interested in doing something like this, is that it's not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
All right. Number one. Number two, you're going to bump into issues and problems. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are some people who, despite what I am saying and what Chris is saying, and Joel, et cetera, will help you. All right. You've just got to keep on searching until you either A, find the right resource in terms of website to help you out, and B, the right people to ask questions of who won't cut you off at the knees, telling you that you should go, play in traffic or
generally like me. Yeah, because I a big thing in my life is I want to teach others to do things. was a primary focus of my job on my last team, and I still do the same thing on my current team. So, and so that is something that's in my heart. Now, the thing is, and probably a bigger problem you're going to run into in the Linux community is how many of the Linux community have T2 based Macs? Not very many.
Not very many.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
so
Probably true.
that's
Windows-based.
rounding in your issues. And I had some of the similar issues getting Linux working on my Surface Pro 6 because I had to disable some of those things, but
I would
it
say
was not insurmountable.
The security chips on Windows boxes are problematic too. Let's be honest.
Yes,
but the Mac does lay some additional layers to that. That crazy.
In fact, the T2Linux.org recommends you don't uninstall Mac OS. So I mean,
correct.
So
correct. Leave it there, but just in case you need to do something with that machine, you've got a way to get back into it.
That's right.
Absolutely true.
But what I would do is I put a link in the Zoom chat there. The B-Link Mini S13 Mini PC. It's $200. And it comes with a 512 or 500 gigabyte M2 SSD. Heck, get a couple of them. Then you can make one a Fedora one and one a Ubuntu or Debian ones.
So I found another Windows machine at home that I decided to sacrifice to this.
Okay.
Yes,
and we'll talk about that particular project on a future show.
Yes. And maybe it'll run the latest release of Ubuntu, which just came out this week. Ubuntu 25.10.
Ubuntu 25.10.
Questing Quokka. Yeah, so now I'll talk a little bit about this because I actually have it on my Surface Pro 6. The upgrade went pretty smooth, although I will say I did that post Linux Link Tech Show, so we'll find out how much of a pain in the butt Xorg not being there is. Because GNOME 49 and Ubuntu has chosen to leave Xorg in the dust and go with the Wayland, which is the newest version of a graphical subsystem that it uses, but it will still run Xorg X11 apps. Some of the problems though that I've run into running X11 apps on top of Wayland has been things like, for example, Mumble, which is the client that we use. We don't use Zoom. We use Mumble for recording the Linux Link Tech Show. And Mumble has a feature for push to talk, so that I can keep muted unless I'm talking. I can press a button and talk. Okay. Well, because of the way that X11 captures the keys and stuff, uses X input too, and the increased security that Wayland has, that doesn't typically work. There's a couple workarounds I'm going to try on it to see if I can make it work. Otherwise, I'll just have to do the unmute mute with the mouse, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it's okay. I can deal with it. Performance is good on the Surface Pro 6. I have no problems with performance. The installation went swimmingly well because I just upgraded from what I already have. So some other important things that it added, like I said, GNOME 49, which has better accessibility enhancements, good for us blind older folks. OpenJDK 25. Python 3.14, RC3, Golang 1.2, GCC 15, Rust 1.85. Includes a preview of .NET 10, which is the upcoming .NET LTS release to be released in November. Rust-based implementations of sudo and core utils, so updated on two very popular programs that Linux uses. Platform security improvements with TPM-backed FDE. So, hey, there's T2 stuff, probably. Linux kernel 6.17 and introduces support for technology and platforms like NVIDIA Grace and Ampere 1. So more ARM support. New RVA 23 profile for accelerated RISC-V adaptation. RISC-V is a new open RISC platform. You can actually buy machines with that now. I've been wanting to, but I haven't just been able to justify it right yet. But that is a new technology that's different from ARM. All right. So other than that, it's a solid distribution. I was able, with no problems, able to get Chrome working just fine. Because it really already was working. And, it's, I will say this, if you're looking at keeping a completely stable machine, stick to the LTS release, which this is not an LTS release. So, if you're on an LTS release, the latest LTS, I'm trying to remember what that is.
6 months ago from October, right?
Let me see. The LTS release is 2404. So that's the latest LTS release. So stay on 2404 if you're looking for an absolutely stable version of Ubuntu. But if you're like me and can deal with the issues, go with a 24 or 2510.
Push the envelope.
Yeah. By the way, it's not just Ubuntu, Kubuntu, and you have all the flavors should have a version of 2510, including some of the ones that might be. Let me double check. Ubuntu Studio. If you've never heard of that version of Ubuntu Studio is centered around content creation. So a lot of the apps and default apps it has on it are surrounding audio recording, like
Adobe stuff.
Similar, but not Adobe stuff, of course.
No,
but
of course not.
But so like it'll have like graphics things for like GIMP, Inkscape, and Blender, Ardor, the Jack sound system, and photography, things like darkroom and stuff like that. A lot of these you can still get on Ubuntu, so don't let that scare you. But actually, there is a version of 2510 out for that. So that's the latest regular release for Ubuntu Studio. Ubuntu Studio is probably better. You can get Wi-Fi to work on it. When I've run it in the past, Wi-Fi was always questionable on it because it's designed more for desktop workstations. But it will work on a laptop just fine too. So, but that's one that not a lot of folks know of. They know of the Kubuntu, which is the KDE based one. LXDE based is Lubuntu, and all the other ones that should have versions out there for your perusal. So, and I highly recommend if you're new to Linux, Ubuntu in any of its flavors should do you well. Lubuntu is probably what I would go with if you have a really old machine, because it's going to be a little bit more friendly on the resources. There's also Xubuntu, which is a little bit more resources than Lubuntu, but also a nice interface. But GNOME is going to be the big fat one, as well as KDE is also fairly fat. So, but all the versions are going to carry with them a lot of the same updates. So, I like it so far. I mean, it's they're continuing to do what they've always done every October and every April. So, and Canonical is doing a great job with them. So
nice. All right. Well, that is the end of our mobile Linux segment. I'm going to go ahead and move us to our Windows segment, but I'm going to do that right after this brief message. Hi, this is Christopher Spera from iTechGear.org and the iTechGear Weekly, and I want to say 5 years. We've been at this for 5 years, and boy, we could really use your help. I know that you've probably been listening maybe for a week or two now, and you've heard me say this more than once. If you feel like you're getting something out of this particular podcast, boy, we really would appreciate a donation of any size, of any type, of any kind, for as often or as just a one-off as you feel called. This is all done on my personal dime. I've never taken any kind of money for this, not because I didn't want to, but because we haven't reached enough people yet. However, we're doing our best to expand our audience. We've had folks like Paul Thurrott from Windows Weekly, Chris Perillo from Locker Gnome, from Vibe Coding fame, from his personal Twitch channel. If you're familiar with Chris, then you know he's a nut and is a great guy to have on the show. We've had Todd Ogasawara from the Mobile Views podcast, and a few other folks that I've got lined up just waiting to get on the show. we are doing our best to make this show one of the absolute best that you can find on the internet. And $1, $2, anything that you can spare for as long as you can spare it would be wonderful as far as we're concerned. I'm not going to belabor this, but hey, we would really appreciate your support. And if you feel called, you can go ahead and make a donation to Chris at iTechGear.org. As I said, this is all coming out of my own pocket. So anything that you can go ahead and send us would be greatly appreciated. On behalf of Brother Joe McLaughlin, Mr. Chris Gavula, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin, and myself, I'd like to say thanks. And now let's get back on to the rest of the show. And welcome back to the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 148. That's Captain MF for you. And I want to go ahead and want to get us into our Windows segment. And unfortunately, we are having some technical difficulties with the big wheel in the theme song.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Chris, I offered you to sit here and go.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't even hear that though.
But if we had it,
No,
we would
I get
be
you.
spinning it about 3 times.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we've got another.
I'll tell you what. As we come to each one, we can say insert wheel spinning sound here.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Okay, so that would be insert fabulous dating game theme song here. Then
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Put it in your minds, folks. Put it in your minds.
Put it in your minds.
Just
and
imagine.
Just think.
Imagine if you will.
Yeah.
Go tape the Wheel of Fortune and just copy
There
it.
you go. So all right. So the Microsoft Mistake-a-thon is back, folks. It's been gone. It's been on brief hiatus, but unfortunately,
We can't save them. We just can't.
No.
You know what the problem is? Our wheel sound was running on Windows. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So yeah, I do want to say that there are some Windows. Thank you. There are some wonderful Windows issues that we've got that have been coming up. And Larry, there's a new one out about Copilot privacy. What's going on here? This is fabulous. You can't make this shit up.
Well, both of them are good, but our friends over at PC World are saying, with tongue in cheek, of course, that Microsoft would really, really, really like you to use Copilot. In fact, they want you to use it so badly that they don't care if you use it with Google, with Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar, and a new Windows Insider update facilitates that. Are you excited, as they said over at PC World? Nobody jumped up. So according to the Windows Insider blog, the latest version of the Copilot app on Windows can now connect to your Google personal services to scan their contents. That means that you can let Copilot search through all of your personal stuff in Gmail and Google Drive and Google Calendar.
So they're basically doing what Google already does.
And just, they can have access to everything. So tell me, what the hell is different now than Google, who's been doing this forever?
No, thank you. No.
Right. Well, we said that to Google, and Google still does it. So what's the difference, to Larry's question?
There is no difference. I get this, but I mean, we're going to be, to use all of these wonderful AI tools in the way that Microsoft wants them to be used, we're going to have to give them access and give them money to let them do that.
And let's make it clear. It's not just to use the AI tools. It's to use the Google tools.
Right.
And to use the Microsoft tools. Yeah. Anything you want to use, it's not free, kids.
Right.
Stop pretending it's free.
No, you are the product. When you are the product. Gmail, you are the product. Your behavior, your activities, they harvest.
It is what it is. That's how you pay for the use of the product.
Right. Google,
it or not,
Gmail
that's what you're doing.
It's not free. They harvest your online activity.
And kids, I say this as someone who uses these services myself. Yep. I understand what I'm signing up for.
But,
You
but
know,
boys
we
and
understand.
girls, you think that what we're talking about is sort of innocuous, and all of us do use Google. There's no doubt about it. Google's given the world a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But think about it at the very, very minimum. Google has access to your Gmail. So in your Gmail, you're talking with your friends about a trip you're planning, and you're going to go to Spain. Do you think you're not going to have something about Spain and airline tickets in tomorrow's Facebook? Of course you are. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
You know,
Mm.
it is the nature of these things. It's how these things work. But what concerns me more is folks like us. We understand this, and we say, look, we understand that we gave them our information, which upon which they've made billions of dollars. We've given them that
Billions and
information in return
billions,
for these
yes.
apps and tools and whatnot. I get it. But
A whole
what
bunch of
bothers me
savings.
is we've got generations out now who do not understand
No.
what they've given up and what they're giving up. They don't get it.
Continuously giving up.
And
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, Google doesn't give a flying rat's patootie
they
what you
don't.
have in your Gmail, but that you are doing something, buying something, going somewhere, looking for new cars or whatever, that they care about because of advertising.
Well, it
That's
gives them
all.
the opportunity to serve you ads, right?
Yep.
It gives them the opportunity to
Sure, of
serve
course
you
it does.
ads that they can um
Absolutely.
And,
make
and if
money
you
off.
That
don't think this is true, try this experiment. Pick a topic you don't care a thing about, like quilting. Okay. I don't know how to quilt. So I'm going to type into Google, how do I quilt? Give me information on how to do this with quilting. Tomorrow, I'm going to see quilting ads. It's
so
that
so
simple.
again, this going back to your initial question, how is what Microsoft's doing any different? I mean, at the end of the day, they're just looking at the
There
tools
in
and
the at the
and
end of the
scraping
day,
the
there
information.
isn't any difference.
Nope,
There's
not a
zero
bit.
difference, right?
And you know, it might be some of this what Apple's struggling with, why they're so slow
Yeah,
to come
because
out. They're trying to figure
they
out
don't.
how to do this without doing that, maybe.
Yeah, their original model was talking about doing some of this on the device rather than, or making the data anonymous. You know, there were different tools that they were
But that
talking
made the
about doing.
hardware almost
Well, Google said originally they were going to just use anonymized data, and then they gave up on that. Said,
because
forget that crap. We're just taking it with your information associated.
yep.
They just gave up, and it was a very almost a non-statement that they made when they did it. So can Apple do it? I don't know. Maybe it's too hard to do. Maybe it's too expensive to do, and the companies providing this just don't care enough. Maybe that's what it is. Don't know.
Don't know.
So
Don't
don't know.
know.
We'll see. Well, in any case, so there's item number one. What's item number two, folks? Because there's more.
Oh,
Well,
item number
Right.
two. Item number two on the on. What's that, Larry?
no. Item number two just crossed my you know what.
Yeah, I know. Item number
Good
two
for
is
you.
one that
Yes.
really sort of I guess
So this is
rubs
real world
Larry the
BS,
wrong way.
what this is.
Microsoft is plugging more holes, allowing you to use non-Microsoft accounts. So what does
Mm.
this mean to you, Larry?
Well, you know, to me,
Yeah.
this is exactly what it means. The cold hard facts are that Microsoft absolutely does not want you to create a local account on a Windows machine with Windows 11. They verbalize several BS reasons why they're doing this, but the real reason that has merit is the one they don't talk about. Money and Microsoft 365 and Copilot. That's all they care about. They want every user on this planet to fork over for Microsoft 365 and Copilot, or at least one of them. End of the story. So,
Right.
as dear Abby,
Right.
for those of you who are old enough to remember dear Abby, she would have said, "So answer this, dear dumb and Redmond. I get that the enterprise has ways around this with flashing new machines for 600-700 PCs at a time, but small businesses do not have that opportunity. They can't afford these
No.
methods. They cannot."
No, they
One of the
can't.
businesses that I sysadmin for every day of my life has 8 Windows 11 laptops. We are back-ended. This entire business show is all on Google Workspace, but we still have Windows. So I obviously can't afford to have admin accounts on all of those machines. You can't allow that. But I
No.
also can't tie these positional users of Windows, like the
Right.
activity manager, this manager, the facilities person. I can't give them their own admin account, and I can't tie these positions to a Microsoft account.
Right.
Yeah.
The day that I cannot install a user account on one of these 8 machines, I'll tell you what, I am moving every one of them. I will, I swear I will, to a high-end enterprise Chromebook, and they can have Microsoft 365, they can have Google Workspace, world will go on. But I will rip them right off of Windows. Why everybody, I mean, why isn't Microsoft seeing this? People
Mm-hmm.
will
I
leave.
think that they do see it. I don't
Well,
think
why
that
don't
they
they
care
care?
because they don't. Because they don't have to. Because being one of the only trillion-dollar companies in the entire world, they can afford not to care.
Well,
Right.
when a trillion $5 million companies stop using Microsoft, then they'll start caring.
Yep.
When they are no longer the company that creates the software that runs 95+% of the world, then they'll care.
Yep.
You know, I
Well,
mean,
they're getting there. They're starting to get there, kids. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's
yeah,
gonna be a
and
matter of time.
actually, it's just Windows is very difficult at that level, a small level. I mean, I
Yeah,
get it in enterprise, they can do this, but I have to approve probably 4, 5, 6 user access control
sure.
requests a week. If I was doing it for 10,000, well, I could afford to have the solutions in place. I can't afford a $500, $600 solution to do that. I can't
No,
do
you
it.
can't.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I get you.
Absolutely.
So
I
here
just
they
don't,
are.
I think they don't care about small business
Well, they claim,
and
they claim this is all about
nonprofits
security.
and
This is all about security, right? But is it really? You and I both
Right.
know it's not about security.
it's
It's
about
about getting
money.
subscriptions. It's about money and subscriptions. What it's
And
about.
Apple's just as guilty about the subscription
You
game.
sure
That's
They
are.
are. They are. But
Th-
the difference is I can still use a core Apple device without buying those subscriptions. I cannot use the Windows device without buying those anymore.
That's
that's
true.
true.
It's true. It's very difficult, if not impossible.
I just think it's just, I don't know, it just incenses me. It really does.
Yeah, I get you.
Agreed. Agreed. They just make it very, very
But
difficult. And of course, if you do acquiesce and you do buy Microsoft services, you may not be able to use them.
we get to number 3 on our list.
True.
Microsoft, congratulations. You have a wheel of
You
stupidity
have a
trifecta.
trifecta
Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
spin.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, this one
And thank you for coming back with vengeance. We appreciate it.
yes,
Yep.
yes. Because let me tell you, it's very, very interesting what's been going on with Microsoft and Teams and Outlook.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Some
geez.
of the
Don't even
stuff
get me
that's been
started on
going
Outlook.
on, um, what was it earlier this week? Microsoft announced that they were investigating reports of issues accessing Microsoft 365 services. This was on like the 9th.
Right.
All right. Um, and I guess there was a huge outage for then
Yeah.
the company confirmed that via its official Microsoft 365 status via X handle, as it notes in the Office.com portal, and some of its related services are inaccessible at the moment. The tech giant has informed you that you can get statuses by going to their specific service health dashboard. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I I
you know,
receive, as a part of my job, I'm going to call them official Microsoft service status outage notices every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every
yeah,
day something
yeah,
is,
screwed up.
and it's always phrased like this may impact some users, with no clear indication as to who's impacted or why or for how long. Nothing. Just this generic,
Yeah,
and
some
it's
users may be
That's like a
impacted, may not be
weatherman
able to
saying
access
it may
services.
rain this week,
and by the
Right.
way,
Yeah.
their coverage is the whole country or the whole world. So
world.
the word is almost meaningless. The phrase is almost meaningless,
Well, yeah,
not very
may,
helpful.
yeah, the word may affect, or the words may affect some users, it's not going to affect some users. It's going to affect a huge number of people that actually
But you just
rely
don't. The
on
point
these
is,
freaking
You just
services
don't know
have a
who,
good
though.
to get their jobs done.
Right.
or
right?
how or how.
Yeah, it could be like when you sent that out, it was quite ironic because I just got a page, like it was Thursday, I think it was, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Thursday.
it was Thursday the 9th. Yeah.
I just got a page where I had a client who had an issue, and they use Azure for their authentication for our
Okay.
application.
Yeah.
And the only thing I had to do is go and re-record the synthetic, and that's
Well,
it. So
it's
then
interesting
it
you
started
say that
work. Yeah,
because in that same window, what we were having trouble with, and it wasn't a
about
complete
5 o'clock.
outage.
Right.
It was actually a little earlier than that for us, but what was happening was they go to get into a Teams meeting. It would say no. You try again, and it would let you in.
Interesting.
You had to try it. You had to hit it a couple times before you could get in.
Right.
Right.
Okay, very minor. Still a big pain in the butt, and still indicative of something else going on.
Well,
right?
Yeah, and even
Something.
when they don't have an official quote unquote outage, issues like that, specifically with Teams, are rampant. I know I haven't had that level of problem with the company that I'm currently with, but in previous companies that were all in on the Microsoft stack, with one healthcare based company headquartered here in Chicago specifically, it was every day, every week. And it was, you'd be in meetings where there's, 20, 30 people and minimum. And, finally, you're able to get in and somebody says, "Hey, what happened?" And you go, "Well, Teams was giving me a hard time. It wouldn't let me in." And everybody would go, "Oh, like, yeah, tell me something they don't know.
No.
So absolutely unreal. The
Well,
amount of
they bring up the executive director of this organization I work with called me the other day or last week actually and said, "Hey, one of the people I'm working with has asked me to do a Teams meeting, and we don't do Teams, do we?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, what'll I tell her? Google Meet or Zoom. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all we do. If you say no, they will meet with you. They don't, but
Yeah.
I just don't
It's
do
the
Teams.
thing.
I refuse.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. These days I'm still more of a WebEx guy. Again,
WebEx is a great product, but the little guy can't afford it. You can't afford it.
not a flawless product, but it's still a good product. But none of these products are flawless, let's be honest. But I just find Teams, they've tried to, it's the exact same thing, Chris. Remember that we used to talk about that they did with Outlook.
Yep.
They dumped every piece of garbage into it possible, all these sub apps, all these
Trying to make it a
capabilities,
complex.
and none of them work that well.
Right.
There's no cohesiveness to any of that crap in there.
Yeah.
No.
So it's too many, and I find now, especially with Teams now, I'm trying to find things like, okay, I got to check off things on my task list because they're using the tasks feature,
Right.
and so I can't even find the dang tasks. And guess what, kids? It's under what they call Planner. How is that for non-intuitive? Thanks, Microsoft.
Do they actually tie that to Microsoft to do?
It's not Microsoft Plan. Don't get them mixed up.
Okay.
Or it's not the big planning app, but it shares some pieces, some components, some things, whatever they've done. But it's basically tasks. I don't need tasks to be part of the bigger. I just need the task list. Show me the
Right.
stinking task list so I can check it off. That's all I care about. So the point I'm getting at is they have not made this product better. And what they're doing to Teams is what they used to do to Outlook. And it's just a mess.
Yeah,
And by
yeah.
the way, as a side note, there used to be, if you were an Android user, there was sort of this Outlook, I forget what it's called, Outlook Lite, Outlook Basic, something like that was out there. They have just discontinued that. You have to download the regular Outlook now. So this lighter version of Outlook is gone, completely gone now. So there you go. So thanks, Microsoft. You're
Fabulous.
you're moving everything you're moving in the wrong freaking direction for the consumer. And why? Because it's all about subscriptions.
It's all about the big buck.
Revenue. It's all about revenue streams. We see it. We understand it. We hate it.
Yes, we do. So
Okay.
And at that point, if we had an outro for the Microsoft Mistake-a-thon, we'd be playing it now. So picture that in your ears, kids.
So we went from talking about a Microsoft 365 outage to Chris's Microsoft outrage.
Yeah, more or
Right?
less. Yay!
Okay. And so it goes.
Yes. So you know what? I have a good idea.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to move us to our tip of the week segment.
You know, I won't complain about that.
No.
Well, wait till we get there.
Then I'll
might.
complain about it then. Okay. Thanks.
So, but before we get to this week's actual tip, I want to go ahead and remind everybody, hey, did you know that iTechGear was founded with the intent of making technology easy for everyone to use and understand? It was.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I and the rest of you jackasses are also dedicated our writing career to that specific
We're going
purpose.
to HR. We're going to HR. I'm
Yes,
just
we
saying.
are. Yes.
Oh.
Allow me to introduce you to our HR representative. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, all.
There you go. And every
Oh.
week, because we want to make technology easier for everybody, we're going to have a weekly tip here, authored by one of our experienced jackasses. And questions, concerns, comments, requests, and yay, dare I say, ideas can all be sent to tips@itechgear.org. And if we use your suggestion or your idea or on the air,
Your
we will go
idea?
ahead and give you, yes, we will go ahead and
Okay.
give you your
Yeah.
15 seconds worth of fame. You know, I am very much into things that right now that for my iPhone that really make everything on it a lot easier. And I have really gotten into Control Center recently. Being able to go ahead and from the top right corner of my iPhone, just swipe down and pull down Control Center. Did you guys
It's a
know that if you
beautiful
need-
thing. It really is.
It is a beautiful thing. And did you guys know that if you need to set reminders or some sort of an alarm, that you can go ahead and do that right from Control Center? All you
I
really
did.
got to do is
I did too.
you can go ahead and add a reminder directly from Control Center. All you've got to do is swipe down from Control Center. And if you don't have it on there, you tap and hold and look for the reminder. It'll get everything sort of jiggly again. You look through the list of controls that are there and add the reminders control.
And by the way, folks, there's an add a control button now under iOS 26. So a little different under iOS 26 now.
Right. So tap that add a control button and then go ahead and look for reminders. Tap that, put that on your Control Center, rearrange it the way you like. And then every time you need to add a reminder, swipe down from the top right corner and just tap that reminders button. And you'll add that reminder directly to your list.
By the way, you can also just add the alarm control panel
Yes.
to your control panel now. You can go directly to the alarms if you
Right.
want.
So
They've added a lot of great features in Control Panel. I really suggest you guys look at it.
Yeah, look
They're
at
really,
Control
really
Center.
great.
Look at Control Center because
There's
it
some
is
great stuff in there.
really, really nice. All right. And if you guys have any questions about Control Center, again, tips@itechgear.org. Ask your questions. We'll get them on here. Control Center is a wonderful thing in iOS.
It is.
And
it's
as
gotten
well
better.
as,
And Mac OS.
I was just going to say, as well as Mac OS and iPad OS. All right.
And it gets better each release. I have to say they added
I
much more
truly
capability
have
to it.
come to rely on it all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So,
okay.
But that is our tip of the week. And I'm going to go ahead and move us to our pick of the week segment. And before we actually get to Larry's fabulous pick for this week, I want to remind everybody that, our picks are typically hardware, software, and other items of interest that we have individually purchased and we actually use and that we like enough that we want to recommend them to you, our growing listener base. These aren't paid advertisements or items that we have any kind of affiliated marketing relationship with. If they were, there's a editorial policy over at iTechGear.org that says we have to notify you of that up front. These are just sincerely things that we believe in and that we want to bring them to you at the end of each show. Guys, it's coming at the end of each show. Why?
Because we like
We
you.
like you.
That one sucked.
That's what she said.
What are you going to do?
I'm so disappointed.
Well, you should be because we did it pretty good last week.
Last week was pretty good.
Yeah, but kids, I didn't even talk this time. The two of you
Right.
together couldn't get it right. So I'm just saying,
That's what she said.
I'm just disappointed.
Ugh.
Ah.
You hate it when that happens. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
Larry,
But we're
what
talking
is
about pick.
your pick, Larry?
My pick is the actual first party Apple 40-watt dynamic power adapter they just came out with when they released the new series of iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
And this came at kind of a nice time for me because I'm a fan of a lot of products. Anchor's one of them, but I have a new rule in my personal technology ecosphere, and that is that from now on, all power adapters, all charging devices, all power cables and bricks will be first party. If it's a Samsung phone, it'll have a Samsung device or a charger. If it's an Apple product, it'll have an Apple product with it.
What's your thinking behind that?
You know what? I'm overheating. I have a couple of well-known charging bricks that just charging an iPad get too hot for me. I just don't like it.
Okay.
I don't think
Fair
it's
enough.
right. It may be okay, and it may be a factor that I shouldn't worry about.
Okay.
But it's just, again, I don't recommend that for all of you out there. It's just me. If you're going to buy, if you're going to buy a Ford, put Ford steering wheel on it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
But I guess, one thing that I will say, I have been reading about subtle differences between Apple charging adapters and the cheap ones, not necessarily the good ones like Anchor. But the thing is that even those, especially those that work with Thunderbolt, Apple puts a lot of circuitry right in the end of that little plug. For those of you who don't know, it's not just 2 or 3 wires attached to 2 or 3 pins. There's actual circuitry in there. So they're worried about things like safety, heat dissipation, all of these things. And I'm not saying they're better. I'm just saying that it's not a bad idea to go with them. But this 40-watt adapter kind of caught my eye, and I wanted to try it. I ordered it. I got it. I played around with it. And what I found was it does better than what they say. All of my tests show that what they're saying, it'll do X 50% charge in 30 minutes. I found a 50% charge in about 26 minutes. So that's a little bit better. I know they're not scientific, they're real world, but to me, they're better.
And it should be pointed out with this particular device, and I think this is a great device, it only achieves these with the newest products. It doesn't achieve these with older products.
It'll charge an older product.
It'll charge them.
But it's
at the
made
lower rate.
specifically, right. It's just a 40-watt charger by all means, but it won't go up to 60 unless it has an iPhone 17 attached to it. Because I tried it with my iPad Pro, it just charged it. It didn't do anything special.
But you're right, Larry. There's a lot of smarts that they put into these things that they didn't used to have in these things. So and Apple used to do that with the Lightning connector stuff. People thought I could buy any Lightning connector from the grocery for $5. Well, guess what, kids? It was just a power pass.
Not so much.
It didn't have the smart circuitry in the ends that, and you couldn't use it for security kind of things or unlocking things. But that was a whole nother animal.
And
so they've been doing this for years.
I get it. That's so compelling to look on Amazon, and you can go on Amazon right now. You can get a 40-watt brick that's white, looks just like this. It's got some name that's this long. It's
true.
$9.95. It's not $39. It's $9.
But Larry, it's like you said. I could look and go, well, I can get a 60 or 65 watt for the same price. But going on Amazon, why do I need to do
one
this?
Of these things they didn't ship with even a cable. It's like,
but you know what? This thing goes up to 60 when it's in its 60 surge mode.
When it's in
it's cool as a cucumber. It doesn't get hot and nothing.
Yep.
I don't know. Heat bothers me with electronics.
So you're liking it. You're liking it a whole lot. And it's how much is it now?
$39. even.
$39. Okay. And even that's not bad.
That's only about 4 Starbucks these days.
Uh-huh.
Just 4.
Fair enough.
Just
It's
four.
true.
4 trips to Starbucks.
Unless,
we'll go ahead and get
unless
you a
you're
new
buying
power
them at the
adapter.
airport. Unless you're buying them at the airport.
Then it's 3.
And then it's two. Then it's 3 or 2.
Two.
Right.
That's true.
She said.
Well,
That's true.
The bottom line is it doesn't hurt to buy the supporting peripheral devices that have the same name as your device. It just doesn't.
As long as you don't have lots of different devices, then your bag
Right.
becomes nothing but connect cables.
Right.
That's true. That's
So the interestingly enough, though, the 40-watt dynamic power adapter, which is the one that you've linked here, with 60-watt max is $39. You can go ahead. They've also got a 35-watt dual USB-C
Me too.
port
I have that. I have that.
compact power adapter is $59. All right.
But
So
it doesn't do surge. I mean, it doesn't do fast charge. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
No.
that's a great little
Okay.
charger, by the way, though.
This charger looks a lot like the one that came with my MacBook Air, but it's got 2 ports versus 1.
That's the one I have, Joel. The one that's got the 35 2-watt, the Air charger.
So
Great,
Okay.
great product, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. That's all of
that's
it.
it. Well,
Awesome.
that's it. You know what else, kids? That's the show.
Oh.
It is all good
Huh.
things. All good things. You go back to
Okay.
to what was
Star
it?
Trek?
95, 96. All good things come to an end. So, this has been the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 148. That's Captain Motherfucker to you. Recorded live
Okay.
Monday, October 12th, 2025. Live from iTechGear Central, as I said.
My
For
goodness.
Mr. Chris Gavula, Brother Joe McLaughlin, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin, this is Christopher Spera saying we will see you next time.